gentleman from California, Mr. Issa, so he's obviously got some advanced technology that he knows about. I'll now yield to him.
Mr. Chairman, it's always good to multitask here in Congress. Secretary, I haven't kept track of how many people have had your job in the 10 years that I've been doing this. I won't forget, though, that the first time that we had a hearing like this, it was about the Bush administration wanting to increase the cost of patent applications, in my case, to over $2 million for the claims of just one of my patents. I'm a funny kind of a guy. Even though I already had the patent, I looked and said, you know, I think $2 million for a patent before it yields anything might be a little excessive for the small inventor. So I take great pride in saying that during the last decade, we ended fee diversion. You now, in spite of the appropriators, you get 100% of the money back to spend. And you've used all of that and more. You have put yourself in a situation in which what used to be diverted funds and you lived with less is now undiverted and you consume it all. And I do appreciate the fact that you're operating under 2010 revenue, and I didn't hear the statistics supporting the increase in handling. In other words, why you would need more revenue than 2010. I didn't see the data showing why earlier you were asking for a loan because, in fact, patent applications were down, but you were hoping to get revenue later. And obviously today I didn't hear that some of your catch-up came from the fact that your workload was also slightly off for a period of time. So I would appreciate it if you'd provide this committee, obviously the Chairman, the data supporting each of these for your request for a 15% tax increase on patent applicants. If in fact it's really needed, of course patent applicants would love to pay it. But let me just go through a quick line of questioning. Do you believe that we should give you the authority to dramatically narrow the number of people who qualify as small entities?
No, nor would I ask for that. I would go in the
why would you continue to want to have me, as, for better or worse, the wealthiest member of Congress, receiving 37 patents and come back and put another patent application in a few months ago, and I'm still a small entity? Don't you want to have people pay for their patents on a proportional basis to the cost, so that in fact it's borne based on the applicant's actual need for evaluation through its granting or denial?
Well, so thank you for the question. If the USPTO had fee-setting authority, which we don't have, I would very much like to adjust fees so that the agency is compensated for the cost of performance services, and that would include charging higher amounts for those patent applications that include lots of claims.
Well, excellent, because, well, let's be careful about the lots of claims, because that's how we got to this $2 million, is there was a punitive proposal under the Bush administration by one of your predecessors where they wanted an escalation far beyond the cost. They wanted to, in fact, discourage people who had hundreds or thousands of claims from making those claims. As somebody who's worked with patent examiners on repeated applications, we all know on your side of the desk that the more claims, the more redundant, the easier and quicker it is. You actually get an economy of scale, but that wasn't the proposal 10 years ago. So my question to you as a follow-up to your answer is, shouldn't you be before us today with a fee adjustment scheme which fairly allows you to do what you would do if you had setting authority, but comes to the chairman of this subcommittee and says, we would like to have these kinds of authorities within. The fact is, we can give you any scheme you come up with. You're coming here asking for 15% across the board. You're not looking at real reforms that adjust the cost of a particular patent or class of patent to the payment. I might suggest today, because it's been 10 years of my caring a great deal about this issue, that that's what you should be coming to us. Come to us and show us that. Secondly, it has been nearly 10 years of waiting for information technology to dramatically reduce the cost of a patent. It doesn't seem to have done that. So this committee has primary jurisdiction. I think all of the committees that look at information technology are beginning to wonder how many billions will be spent without a real pay for. And could you respond to that last question?
I'm not sure if you were here when a very similar question.
I caught part of it, but it didn't say how much longer should we tolerate this before Congress takes a more direct role, finds an outside entity to take over this process if, in fact, you cannot get it done with the leadership of yourself, your predecessor, and your successor.
So I'm confused as to what you're referring to.
Much of your efficiency has come from sharing with other bodies. In other words, other people are doing more and more of the work. I appreciate that. It doesn't make sense to reinvent the wheel. At the same time, to say that some other country is not as good, this Congress, just before I arrived, stripped 100 years, 200 years almost, of patent policy away. The idea that your patent was good for 17 years from granting or others based on other patents. And we replaced it with an international standard that is robbing inventors every day you delay. So although you say you're doing well, although there's an improvement, we also have to realize as this economy rebounds in the months or years to come, there will be an increase. Much of that increase is coming from foreign nationals. The gentlelady's left, but the fact is she can celebrate American entrepreneurism, but the fact is that more and more of your patents are coming from people who are not in this country who want to harvest the benefits. But notwithstanding where they're coming from, you're robbing inventors every day. How much fees you get is less of my concern than that you get that number down. But if you're going to raise fees, and I know the Chairman's time has expired, I'll just close. Why is it you can't come to us with a strategy that doesn't continue to simply raise fees on all, but comes to us with a real cost to fee basis, not a punitive one for too many applications, but a real cost to fee? Because I think the Chairman and all of us would love to hear a proposal that would really allow you to recoup your cost without penalizing anybody. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your indulgence. Yield back.
I thank the gentleman. Does the gentleman care to briefly answer that?
Well, I would respond that that's exactly what I'm here talking about today in the form as an example of the Track 1 initiative, which is pure cost recovery initiative that enables patent applicants, large and small, to file an application today, get 3-month processing and 12-month final disposition, pure cost recovery, no more and no less than that, and on their own elective basis. So we're actually trying to implement exactly the sort of market-based approaches that you're calling for. I couldn't agree with you more, Congressman Issa, that those kinds of approaches are needed.